G'day everyone, my name's Michael Taylor, and in this video I'm going to give you my top 5 performance upgrades for your E46 BMW. One of the things I really love about the E46 platform is the huge range of performance upgrades that are available. But in this video I'm going to concentrate on the upgrades that are going to take your daily driver up a couple of levels and give your BMW driving experience just a little bit more zing. So let's dive straight into it with number 1, let it breathe. Out of the box, the E46 BMW is a great car to drive, but it can always be improved on, and the BMW engineers do leave a little bit of room to improve certain aspects of your BMW driving experience. Now, one of the areas which can really benefit from an aftermarket upgrade is the air intake. This is the standard air box out of your BMW E46 with the M54 engine, or the 6-cylinder engine. Basically, the air comes in through here. There's a square filter in the top, and then it comes out here and goes to the throttle body. So it does its job very well. The compartment itself shields the cold air coming in from the heat from the engine bay, but it's a little restrictive. And the performance of your E46 can certainly be improved with better airflow. And the way we do that is with this. So what I've got in front of me now is an aftermarket air intake system from AFE Power. And this is sometimes referred to as a cold air intake or whatever. But basically it replaces the standard air box with a pod filter setup. So in this kit you get your pod filter. And this is an oiled unit, so with the kit you get a bottle of oil to lubricate or to oil the pod filter. You get all your pipe work, which connects to the standard intake pipe work that goes into the throttle body. All your adapters, clamps. But what I particularly like about this system is you also get this really robust aluminium heat shield as well, and that's going to protect the air filter and that cold air coming into it from the heat from the engine bay. Also, if you're using your car as a daily drive, it's going to protect your air filter from water and that which may splash up into the engine bay as well. So if you're looking at an aftermarket air intake, there's several which are available on the market, but look for one which includes some type of heat shield that's going to protect the air filter from heat and from water that may enter into the engine bay. I really like the AFE intake system because it's pretty much a plug and play system, and it's the sort of modification that you can do by yourself in your garage within a couple of hours. It utilises the existing factory airbox mounts, and there's no modification needed to the MAF sensor or to the MAF sensor wiring. Simply remove your old airbox and install your new AFE intake kit and you're ready to go. Now, as I say, there's plenty of these that are available on the market. So most of them are going to give you an increase in horsepower of around about 5 horsepower with a proper tune as well. And when you match that up with the other steps that I'm going to outline later in the video, you're going to see some really good horsepower increases with a proper tune as well. Look for one which has got a aluminium heat shield and is pretty much a bolt-in kit. After that, we then move on to number 2, which is give your engine some tone. Now that we've improved the airflow coming into the engine, you'll want to improve the airflow coming out of the engine, and by that I mean the exhaust gases. The other great thing about this next upgrade is you add a bit of tone and a nice sporty note to that great 6-cylinder BMW engine. So what you're looking at is a Catback Exhaust system for your E46 BMW. The benefits of this is that it greatly improves the restrictive exhaust system on your existing BMW. They're much lighter as well, so you cut down a bit of weight, but primarily what you're doing is you're allowing that exhaust gas to escape from the engine much quicker and much more freely. And this is also going to give you horsepower gains of between 5 and 10 horsepower, depending on the type of system that you go for. One of the real advantages of installing a new stainless steel catback exhaust is that it polishes up extremely well. So if you'd like to learn how to polish your new stainless steel catback exhaust, then check out my earlier video by clicking the link above to see how easy it is to do yourself. Now I have 3 picks in terms of the exhaust systems that I like for the E46 BMW, and that starts with number 1, the Super Sprint system, which is what I've installed on my E46. The others I would look at are the Baller and Corsa. Both offer a great catback system which doesn't give you drone if you're doing a lot of cruising and things like that, and they come in a range of options in terms of the setup with the number of mufflers and resonators that you can install on the system. But the one thing they all do is they increase the exhaust flow out of the engine, and combined with your new intake system, you're going to see some really noticeable horsepower gains out of that beautiful 6-cylinder BMW engine. Let's move on to number 3, and number 3 I call fill your fenders. Now that we've got the performance taken care of, you're going to want your E46 to actually look the part. And the way you can easily do that is by upgrading to an aftermarket set of rims and tyres. BMW traditionally use a really high offset, which keeps the wheel sort of tucked inside the fender line. And it doesn't really promote that more aggressive, sporty stance. So by going for an aftermarket wheel, you can lower the offset. So it's going to fill in that fender a lot more and give it a more sporty, aggressive sort of stance. The wheel offset refers to the measurement from the center of the wheel to the face of the wheel, or to the pad of the wheel where it mates up to the wheel hub. This measurement is expressed in millimeters. So the higher that number, the more the edge of the wheel is going to sit within the wheel well. And the lower that number, the more the edge of the wheel is going to sit towards the fender lip. It's really important when you're choosing your new wheels that you not only consider the width of the wheels, but also the offset of the wheels to ensure that your new wheels aren't going to rub on suspension components, brakes, or the fender lip. There's a huge range of aftermarket wheels available for your E46 BMW, and a lot of companies like Apex will make wheels with specific offsets that are going to give you the look and the stance that you want. So do a bit of shopping around to find the type of wheel that is going to give you the offset that you want and allow you to run the width of tyre that you want and to help fill in the guard. As you can see, I've chosen the Apex FL5s for my E46 BMW, and I'm really happy with the more aggressive stance that these rims add to my E46 BMW. Do your research, do your shopping around, choose a set of wheels that have a specific offset that will suit your BMW. I'm sure you'll find something in a range of prices that will suit your budget and the look that you want. So now that we've filled in the fenders, it's time for number 4, and we're going to close the gap. The next thing you can do to add a more sporty, aggressive look to your E46 BMW is to close that fender gap. Now, BMWs generally have a fairly high fender clearance, particularly at the front. So by installing aftermarket suspension, you can close that gap between the top of the tyre and the fender to help get your BMW look in the business. There's a couple of options. You can go what they call like a cup kit, which is a shock absorber and spring setup, and that's going to generally lower at about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch at the front, and about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch at the back, and give you that nice sporty look. The other option is to go for a set of coilovers where you can dial in exactly the right height that you want. The only thing I would say when choosing a set of coilovers is that you stick to a reputable brand and perhaps avoid the cheaper ones that you'll find on eBay, because by going a reputable brand you're going to get something which is going to give you a much better ride and keep it reasonably close to a factory ride comfort, whereas the eBay ones tend to be a lot harsher and you're going to really sacrifice on your ride comfort. So maybe save up for a little bit longer and get a reputable brand set of coilovers and suspension for your E46, and you'll be much happier with the end result. Now that we've got our performance set up and our look set up, how about we look at some stopping power? So number 5, stop it. That's right. we're going to look at brakes. Now, you don't have to spend a fortune on your brake setup to get a great improvement in terms of the stopping power on your E46 BMW. A big brake kit's going to set you back a few $1,000s just for the front. And if you're going to do the rear as well, there's another couple of grand there. So it's a big investment. But if you're adding 20 or 30 horsepower, you don't need to go to the extent of a big brake kit. I installed a big brake kit on the front of my E46 BMW because I'm adding about an extra 100 horsepower. I'm going to need the extra braking performance that those larger rotors and 4-piston calipers are going to give me. The consideration is to take into account your performance upgrades and then match your brake upgrades accordingly. If you are making the performance upgrades that I've suggested earlier in the video with the intake and the Catback exhaust and adding around about 20 or 30 horsepower, then there's a couple of simple upgrades that you can do to your braking system to really get a noticeable improvement in your braking performance. The first thing is to replace the existing rotors with a set of drilled rotors and a set of performance brake pads. Add to that a set of stainless steel brake lines and you're going to get much firmer, better pedal feel, and all the energy that is being generated when you press that brake pedal is going to go directly to the brake pads and apply pressure to the rotors. Those three simple things are going to give you a better braking performance to match that slight increase in horsepower, and it's going to make your driving experience that much more enjoyable. Now, once again, these are really simple upgrades that you can do at home in your own garage. Set aside a day on the weekend, get your parts ordered, and you can change out your rotors, your brake pads, and install those stainless steel brake lines on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then get your brakes bled or take it to somebody to get them professionally bled, and you should be right to go. So they're my top 5 performance upgrades for your E46 BMW. If you've got any feedback in terms of upgrades that you've made to your E46 BMW, then post us a comment below so that we can share it with our other viewers. Now, I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more videos about BMW E46 performance upgrades, maintenance, and to follow along my build on the E46 BMW, then subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified each time a new video comes out. But I've enjoyed your company, and until we meet again, look after yourselves, stay safe, and TTFN.